Good evening and welcome to our Spotlight on Wyoming Lions broadcast. I'm Lion Dave Orr from the Cheyenne Sunrise Club. Here with me tonight is President Bonnie Harrison from the Cheyenne Noon Lions Club. Technically, their name is the Cheyenne Lions, but we have three clubs in Cheyenne, so we call them the Cheyenne Noon Lions to differentiate. Cheyenne Lions Club was the first club in Wyoming. It was founded in June 5th, 1920. And again, as I said, we're with Bonnie Harrison. We're hoping that Lion Bob Clary will be able to join us. Bonnie's been a member for 10 years, and you've been the president for how many years?
3 or 4. I've lost track. I got into the position, and I've been there for several years.
Well, you do a great job. And then Lion Bob Clary is going to join us. We hope has been a Lion in the Cheyenne Noon Lions Club for 47 years. Yeah. So let's get started. Bonnie, tell us a little bit about what you know about the early history of your club.
So I've been doing, for our 100th anniversary, which was 2 years ago, I was doing research about the club. So there's a lot of newspaper articles from like the 1917, 18, 1920. So I found out that our Lions Club was not the first Lions Club. There was the Lions Club was mentioned March 1918, and in the paper said that they were a civic-minded group of men with some interesting projects that were documented. So they were interested in local politics and enhancements for the city, such as paving roads and mapping a scenic drive. So there's a scenic drive. It was called the Lions Trail, and they've documented the trail. So it was kind of interesting that they didn't do the work on the trail, but they promoted it, and they had all these picnics to go out to the trail and promote it.
Where did the trail go?
It followed the route for Happy Jack. It went up to the Ames Monument and then turned around and came back. So that was the first club. And then the papers say that after about 6 months of existence, the Lions Club members chose to disband, and they formed the first Rotary Club in Cheyenne on August 15th, 1918. So they were only in existence for about 6 months, and then they became Rotaries. So kind of curious.
Well, we know now that Lions is a better organization than that.
Right.
He said with tongue in cheek.
So in 1920, when the Lions Club International was sending out representatives to form new clubs, they came to Cheyenne, and that's when our club was formed. The Cheyenne Lions Club was formed June 5th, 1920. So
that was June 5th, 1920, and they actually met in the Plains Hotel, right?
They did, yes. So it's really popular, apparently, a big hotel, and yes, it was the place, I guess, to meet. It was the Plains Hotel.
Did your research turn up any early projects that they did besides the trail?
Well, yes. So they formed. They were doing civic improvements in Cheyenne, and so in 1921, the Lions Club and the Rotary Club began planting trees. There's a lake here in Cheyenne called Sloan's Lake, so they started planting trees and created a picnic area, which was known as the Lions Park. So from there, it developed into Lions Park, which is known today. So it was called Lions Park even as early as 1921.
But now, for those of you who have not been to Cheyenne, Lions Park is a huge our largest city park. Has a lake and picnic shelters and an exercise trail, which we'll talk more about later.
Hopefully, with when Bob joins us. So yes, so it's all this history is in the newspaper, and it talked about them planting trees and flowers annually in the park. And then sometime later, like in the 50s, they provided restrooms. They built there was a skating pond, a beach house, and a softball field. So that was all stuff that they did to develop Lions Park.
So it truly was Lions Park.
It was Lions Park, and yeah, the Rotaries were there too, but for some reason we got our name on the park, and I don't really know the details about that.
Well, that's okay. We'll take it.
Okay.
Now, in 1933, something important happened.
So yes, so 1933, the club became the sponsor of the Boy Scout Troop 101. So they meet in Lions Park. We have a building in Lions Park that we pay the utilities for and the insurance on the building, and they've been meeting there for many years. We've been sponsoring them for about 90 years. So it's really a good thing for the Scouts because they have an established place to meet. And then we also use the building sometimes for Lions Club events when we can. So just recently, about 10 years ago, it didn't have a bathroom for a long time, and we built a bathroom addition with donations from local businesses. So it was a big thing to go from having just a meeting space with a place to meet, but now, excuse me. But now with the restroom, we can have other things going on. Excuse me.
I didn't abandon you there. My dog pushed the door open. I was getting TV noise from the next room. So, in any case, the Cheyenne Lions sponsored additional clubs too, right, Bonnie?
So yes. So in you can look at the dates of there's 3 clubs in Cheyenne. So I think because it was so popular that the other clubs wanted to form. So we sponsored the Frontier Lions Club, and they were chartered in June 26, 1964. And I believe they were the ones who chartered the Sunrise Club, and they sponsored the club. And the Sunrise Club was chartered in December 14th, 1973.
Right. So, and we're glad they did.
Yeah.
What are some of your more recent projects, Bonnie?
Well, okay, so this is the part that I really wanted Bob Clary to talk about. So, because Bob Clary, he has been a Lion for 47 years. So, way back in the 80s, excuse me, change some water. They built a let's see, they did fundraisers and they organized the community to build a playground in the park. So this photographs we see here is the playground in the park. And that was approximately 1994 was the playground. And it's been torn down since then because I think there's, the playground probably was only good for like 10 or 20 years, but for a long time it was a very popular place at the Lion.
I haven't been by there recently enough. There is still a playground there, right?
There is a playground that's been replaced. The city built a new playground about 5 years ago. Okay. So, excuse me. And then in 1983, the club built and maintained a fitness trail. So they wanted to talk about having citizens be more fit. So there's a path that goes around Lions Park, and they built a fitness trail. So every few stops, you stop and do some exercises.
It's got little paraphernalia, equipment.
Equipment for doing sit-ups and push-ups and all kinds of things. So that was in 1983. So so because it's our park, I think we've always wanted to do improvements for the park or maintain the park to the best of our ability.
Now, there was a big project in the 80s and 90s that was a real success too.
Yeah, excuse me. That was we built the playground in 1994.
But the chili cook-off was a big deal for
okay, so we'll talk about so fundraisers. So they in the 80s and the 90s, as a fundraiser, they were doing this annual chili cook-off, and it was a big deal because it was a sanctioned event. They had at least 15 teams coming to compete, and people who won the chili cook-off would go on to other competitions. So because it was really popular, we made a lot of money, and the money we used it for an eyeglass vision program. We provided eyeglasses and exams for underprivileged children, school-age children. So excuse me. The program lasted more than 10 years, and we provided eyeglasses for more than 690 children at an approximate cost of $50,000.
Wow,
So
that's a lot of money.
it's a lot of money, and that's, I believe it's most of it came from the chili cook-offs.
Uh-huh. Now, your club partners with the other Cheyenne and Laramie County clubs as well with some other fundraising activities.
Yes. So the other activities that they were doing in the 80s and the 90s was they did a white cane day at the mall. So we promote, because we're all about the vision, about promoting vision and Nights of the Blind. So they would do the white cane day. They would get donations of glasses, and they get donations for funding for money. So this photograph that you see there is from the 80s of their doing this fundraiser at the mall.
And if I remember correctly, the White Cane Days, they had little like lapel pins, little plastic lapel pins that were white canes. And people made a donation, they got a white cane, kind of a lapel pin. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, yeah. So that was fairly popular too for a long time. So the other and they did a number of fundraisers. They did some kind of carnival also at the mall, just to get the visibility for the club. So
in more recent times, we've all of the Laramie County clubs have banded together to help with. We have the Cheyenne Vision Committee, which was, I think, an outgrowth of the eyeglasses committee that your club.
I believe so. So after about 10 years of doing the children's vision, I think that program was taken over by somebody else, some other organization. So we transitioned to doing just adult vision. So currently we assist with grants for eye exams and eyeglasses, and we work with the Community Action of Laramie County. And it's a joint vision program with the Sunrise Club and the Frontier Club. And then the Vision Committee, they gave me some numbers. From 2014 to 2021, we helped 288 people and have spent more than $58,000. And that's on the exams and on the eyeglasses.
Right. And that program, people who qualify for it get a voucher. They go to the eye doc. The eye doc gives them the exam and the glasses, and then they send the voucher to the Vision Committee. And then I think they're paid $250 for doing it. So, and that's, of course, a drastic discount over what glasses and an exam would ordinarily cost.
Yeah, so it's a useful thing. I mean, I think for me, what I like about the Lions Club is that we do useful things, and I feel like all the projects, even though they seem like they're small at the time, but it's affecting someone's life, and it's allowing people to go to work or stay gainfully employed because they now have a pair of glasses that they didn't have before.
Well, and we also do some partnering to help with eye surgeries.
So we partner with the Rocky Mountain Lions Eye Bank and the Lions of Wyoming Foundation and the other clubs here in Laramie County to pay for eye surgery. So I think that's also very beneficial because otherwise people would not be able to have cataract surgeries or would not be able to afford it.
And I want to give a plug to the Lions of Wyoming Foundation and particularly Rocky Mountain Lions Eye Bank, because they, and others may not be aware of this, but the eye bank will provide 80% of the cost of an eye surgery. And then the Lions of Wyoming Foundation come in and pick up half of the remainder. And of course, in our case, the 5 clubs in Laramie County split that remaining 10%. So what it boils down to is because of these partnerships, we can provide a surgery for an individual club cost of about 2% of the actual cost of the Medicare cost of the surgery. So really is a way to get a lot of bang for our buck. Well, let's talk a little bit about current projects. So
current projects. So we still have our building in Alliance Park, the Scout Lodge, that the Boy Scouts use it, but we also use it for different events. So sometimes we'll just use it to organize. When we collect glasses from all the different organizations, we might use the building to sort eyeglasses that we use for recycling. And then, so the one picture with those some Boy Scouts who helped us pick up trash in Lions Park, and we try to pick up trash 2 or 3 times a year, usually in the summer, of course. And then the picture in the snow, that's just a recent photograph of the building from just a few days ago.
You mentioned a little while ago, but for years that building didn't have a bathroom, and the Lions were responsible
That's true. It
for
was just
adding a bathroom into that, which made a whole lot of difference in its use.
Exactly. Before so you wouldn't, only the Boy Scouts met there. Nobody else would meet there because there was
no
you
bathroom.
didn't want to have to go to an outhouse or to go to the.
There was at one time a public restroom, but I think it was across the street, so you had to go across the street to use it. So, yeah. So you mentioned picking up trash, and I think I've got a shot, of that.
So that's our secretary, Barbara Peterson, and also Bob Clary with the little tongs picking up trash. Yes.
And then let's see. There's another recent project that you mentioned to me.
Yeah, so we're trying to attract more people to join the club. So for the last 3 or 4 years, of course, we didn't do it during 2020, but we've been doing working with Habitat for Humanity. We have a small team of us who like to help build houses. So this is myself and 2 of our team members, Larissa DeWeese and Travis DeWeese. And so this is a picture of us building a house for a veteran this summer. So it's kind of cool. So we're hoping that the more we do the building, that will attract more people to join the club and say, hey, I want to join those people and build houses. So that's
all of the literature I read about membership seems to indicate that you have much better luck recruiting members if you involve them in service projects than if you just invite them to a meeting. So
right, that's what I'm hoping. So our club is kind of dwindling, but I'm hoping that the more visibility we have, the more projects we do around the city, that'll help us attract new members.
Well, the club certainly has a long history of service to the community, and something really to be proud of. And the fact that you're the oldest club in the state has got to be a source of pride as well.
So 1920, 100 years, that's a long time for an organization to exist. And I think it's because there's value in the organization. I think some people, they join it because there's a networking component. People join because they want to meet other people, and but they also join because they want to serve their community. So I think that's why I joined. That's why I'm still there, I guess, even though I feel like sometimes I'm, because the club is dwindling, yet as long as the club is doing good and that I can provide a beneficial service, then I will probably still be aligned. So,
Bonnie, you mentioned to me that the reason you joined Lions had to do with getting to know people.
Yes. So we moved here in 2008. Moved to Cheyenne in 2008, and my son joined the Boy Scout Troop 101. And I'm not really an outgoing person, and I didn't know how to meet new people. So I started going. I started going to the Lions Club meeting, and because I wanted to meet new people. So I thought, and once I realized what the club did and all the projects they had, that's when I decided to join the club.
Well, and Bob mentioned when we talked earlier that he had joined kind of for a similar reason, but he was invited to join, and it was largely a businessman's club, I think, 47 years ago when he joined it. And so it does give people a chance to network. I know it used to be that if you mentioned your business, you'd get fined. And these days, people are much more understanding of the issue of networking and sharing. And I know that there are several Lions in town. Diane Tamman has Underwood Flowers, and Rick and Bernadine Woods used to be the appliance dealer on the south side, B&B Appliance. And you feel good about doing business with people who are involved in community service.
Yeah, and I know, and people they want to meet people who are kind of I don't know, social, I guess, in the I don't know
Community spirited.
community spirit, but yeah. So you meet people who are like-minded, and I think the Lions Club is good for that because you find other people with a similar interests, and and I think a lot of people who join the club and stick with it, they see the value in being a Lions Club member and all the good
Personal
things.
satisfaction. I've been able to meet with people who've gotten those cataract surgeries and those new eyeglasses, and it's a moving experience to see about somebody who wasn't able to work, and now they're able to get and hold keep their job because they were going to lose it because they couldn't see, and so it's a
I
good
think
feeling to be able to help people.
it's a worthwhile organization. I just wish more people would realize that and join our club.
Well, hopefully somebody will see this broadcast and be moved to join us. If they do, your club has a website.
We do, and it's
Cheyenne.
I can't remember the exact name, but it's CheyenneLions.org, I believe is the name of it.
And then, of course, there is a state Wyoming Lions Club that you can help locate, the lionsofwyoming.org. And so if people have interest in finding more about lions, there's also the international website, which will help you locate a club near you. If you don't live in Cheyenne, you might want to, it's lionsclubs.org. It's lionsclubs.org. And they have a club locator on that site. Well, Bonnie, we've used 20 minutes, and I kind of wanted to try to hold us to that time frame. Any parting words?
No, I'm sad that Bob wasn't able to join with us, but we do. We have a lot of nice people in our club, and we do a lot of good work. And I would encourage anybody who, if you want to make friends and serve your community, to look for a Lions Club to join.
Good ending message.
Okay.
I want to thank you, Bonnie, for coming on. And sorry we weren't able to connect up with Bob, but I want to thank. I see we have one viewer. Maybe it's Bob. In any case, this broadcast will be available on this link later on, and we've sent it out to all the Lions in the state. But if you want to just search Spotlight on Lions, you should be able to come up with this and a couple of other broadcasts we've done. Bonnie, thanks again for your time, and
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks to all of you who have tuned in and are watching. So we'll say good night.
Bye-bye. See you later.
Bye now. Good night.